Chaos on Capitol Hill late into the evening yesterday. The Republican-led House failed in its attempt to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, falling one vote short. Republicans Ken Buck of Colorado, Tom McClintock of California, and Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin voted against the measure. Republican Conference Vice Chair Blake Moore then flipped his vote to no seconds before the vote closed, so the party can bring the articles of impeachment back to the floor at a later date. Democratic Congressman Al Green had missed votes on the issue earlier in the day because he was in the hospital recovering from abdominal surgery, but he was able to show up at the last minute for the final vote. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene suggested that that was a sneaky move.
They hid one of their members waiting to the last minute, watching to see our votes, trying to throw us off on the numbers that we had versus the numbers they had. So, yeah, that was a strategy at play tonight.
Oh, got it. A spokesperson.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Nuts.
He voted. He came. You're supposed to vote. There's nothing sneaky about it.
Job.
Got a voting card. I'm here.
Yeah.
Vote.
A spokesperson for Speaker Mike Johnson says Republicans will bring the articles of impeachment back to the floor when the House has enough votes to pass it. So this is what they're doing with their time.
Yeah.
Let's bring in the host of Way Too Early, White House Bureau Chief at Politico, Jonathan Lemire. Deputy Managing Editor for Politics at Politico, Sam Stein. MSNBC contributor and author of the book, How the Right Lost Its Mind, Charlie Sykes. Good morning to talk about that book this morning. And NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sirkin is with us as well. Good to have you all on board.
So, Julie, tell us what in the world happened.
I mean, you guys saw it. I'm glad you had to go back and rewatch C-SPAN because I think we all were glued to C-SPAN last night. I mean, this was really stunning, and it was a bad week for Republican leadership, not only in the House but also in the Senate because of everything you just went through with the border bill. This was absolutely stunning on the floor. Actually, Speaker Mike Johnson and his leadership team spent a long time on the floor trying to pressure Mike Gallagher, one of those no's, trying to get him to flip, to vote for impeaching Alejandro Mayorkas. He said he would not. You also had the same effort happen with Ken Buck, the Colorado Republican, who said that he is retiring from Congress. So he doesn't have any reason to flip and go with what Republicans want on this because he said that Mayorkas' impeachment does not rise to the level of high crimes and misdemeanors. Nonetheless, they're going to try this again, guys. And Steve Scalise, who's the majority leader, who's been out for cancer treatment, he's going to come back at some point in February to try and get this done. The question is, under House rules, how many days do they have to bring this up again? The House majority, the Republican majority, feels confident they can do it, but it is quite embarrassing. And I can't remember the last time, if ever, that they pursued impeachment, especially of a cabinet secretary, which hasn't been successfully impeached in 150 years. And this kind of thing happened where they just didn't have the votes on the floor.
So Charlie, they're bringing up a BS impeachment, articles of impeachment. They're voting on it. They're failing. They're losing. They're trying to get other funding. Who knew? Through they're failing on those votes. They bring up a resolution to try to polish off what Donald Trump did when he committed insurrection. We could go down the list. I remain deeply troubled, though. They leave the border open as a political strategy, and they allow Vladimir Putin his dream of possibly one day being able to march into Kyiv because they won't fund Ukraine. And you do wonder, I know there have to be serious House Republicans in there, and I do wonder when they're going to stand up and speak out and say, we let Putin take Georgia in 2008, so he went into Ukraine in 2014. He went in again a couple of years ago. And after we sit back and give him Ukraine, he'll then go after Poland. He'll then go after the Balkan states. And in their eyes, I mean, they'll have Donald Trump in the White House who will gladly let Putin do that. Like this is the worst invasion since World War II on the continent of Europe. And Republicans are saying, take it.
I am so glad that you're connecting all the dots because, of course, that was a, shambolic clown car we saw yesterday. We really, yesterday was peak Republican dysfunction, but the collateral damage is going to be immense, with the border, with Ukraine, with Israel, with our image in the world, with our relationship with our allies. So on the one hand, you're seeing these bad performance artists like Marjorie Taylor Greene spend their time on this sort of thing, and you see the ongoing audition for the favor of Donald Trump. But meanwhile, there are real world consequences to all of this. I mean, that was an embarrassing day. It was a humiliating day. It was a shameful day. But unfortunately, to your question, I'm not sure that this party, has the capacity to say, hey, this is just wrong. This is not who we are. I have to admit that, like everybody else, I was surprised by that vote. I was surprised that Mike Gallagher finally found a backbone and decided to stand up against him. And I imagine that the pressure on him is going to be absolutely intense between now and next week on the Mayorkas impeachment. But you can't unring a bell. You can't undo the humiliating embarrassment you saw yesterday, the dysfunction and the inability of the Republican Party to be a serious governing party was on full display all day yesterday, and we're going to get a replay of that again later today as well.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay of that, Jonathan Lemire, on the immigration question with this cloture vote in the Senate expected to fail. They're not going to allow debate on this bill. Yesterday also, as we mentioned, there was a vote after the failed impeachment vote on standalone Israel aid. Again, this was a Republican idea, a Republican bill. That failed, too, and by a wide margin. So this House not exactly covering itself in glory yesterday, and more to come today.
Yeah, more to come today. And just a complete abandonment of trying to actually govern here. That there right now, unless something is completely a startling turnaround, there's not going to be a border security deal. There will not be aid to Ukraine. And we saw yesterday national security officials saying that Russia was on the verge of its first victories in the war, taking new Ukrainian territory since Bakhmut. So that's many, many months from now. We're seeing the tide of war turning a little bit there already. And Ukraine is going each and every day without the weapons and money they need from the United States. And we seem unwilling to send it that way. So certainly this is Sam Stein going to hand President Biden a couple of significant campaign issues. He's going to be able to point at Republicans, say they abandoned Ukraine. They are the ones not securing the border. The president said yesterday he'll be out in the campaign trail making those arguments. And it also seems like nothing's going to change because Speaker Johnson now, especially after this failed impeachment vote, his grasp on power, that much more tenuous, he's going to have to do Donald Trump's bidding to the word.
Yeah, it's hard to see Johnson turning around and then putting up a bill that gets majority Democrat support. I mean, his position is incredibly weak this morning, much weaker than it was yesterday, and it was pretty weak yesterday. I'm sort of with you here, Jonathan. My assessment of yesterday was that the Mayorkas vote was, I mean, obviously an objective humiliation for House Republican leadership, but ultimately, sort of on a substantive level, I don't think it was as significant as the defeat of this border bill in the Senate that is coming today. For that reason, two reasons. One, Mayorkas' impeachment was never going to happen, even if the House recommended the articles of it to the Senate. The trial would have been quick. They would have dismissed it. We would have gone on with our lives. It's a show, more or less. Yeah. But the border bill, really, that is the key to unlock a whole host of different foreign policy priorities. And I think the dysfunction in the Senate among Republicans there is, to a degree, more significant than the House. I mean, we sort of expect the House Republicans to operate this way. I guess that's the bigotry of low expectations, but it's true. The expectation was the Senate would operate slightly differently. And I'm just struck by, someone put it like in a headline that I thought was pretty remarkable. And it was, I'm summarizing here, but it's like, Senate Democrats fail to persuade Republicans to pass conservative border bill. And that's essentially what happened, right? Like, this is a conservative border bill that Democrats were saying you should pass, and they said no. And because of that, we will not likely have Ukraine aid, Israel aid, Taiwan aid, aid for Palestinians. Yeah.